By now you should have already loaded up a database in your WeAreIDT site, and we're ready to load up the sample database that's available in the assignment. I'm going to move to the page where the files are. These are going to be available throughout the semester when you need them. If you need to reload them, hopefully you won't have to because they're stored in your database online. But if we at some point move on to use the Workbench product, you might be needing to change your disk configuration and have to reload these constantly. But hopefully you'll just be able to keep these online. We'll figure it out this semester. So there are two files that are attached to the assignment. The sample MySQL database. One is the create script, and the other one is the populate script. These are not script files per se because they're text files. Actually, that's just a lot of text that we're going to load, and that's all script files are. They're just text. But rather than typing the whole thing ourselves, the author of the book that we used before already typed them in for us. So I'm going to click on create.txt. That opens in a new folder, or rather a new web page, and you can see there's comments on top of every main command. This will create a table for customers, will create a table for order items, and so on and so forth for every part of the database. Now, as we get on through the course, this is only setting up the space, the tables, the blank slates that will be filled in with data that we'll be able to change, we'll be able to access, we'll be able to publish online. So I'm going to click anywhere where there's no text and press Control A on a PC, Command A on a Mac, and right click and copy this text. Now that it's copied, I'm just hanging on to it, and I'm going to slide back to my cPanel and find a very important program that we're going to be using for this course. It's called phpMyAdmin. phpMyAdmin basically is an online database manager. If you're already logged in to your website, you should already be logged in to phpMyAdmin. If you were working on your own server, or if you're working on WAMP, MAMP, etc., you might have to log in with a new root user, but since we're already logged in as root basically. You'll see to the left that there's a space for your databases to appear. Mine is already there, the one that I created in the previous exercise, idtprof_mydatabase. When I click on plus, there's nothing there, it's blank, so nothing to look at just yet. There's plenty of commands on top over here. This is actually a fairly steady, very useful application to work with databases online. We'll be touching upon the settings, how to import and export, and all of these things probably throughout the semester. Right now, I want to load in this script that I just copied. Rather than loading it up from a file, since I have it on my clipboard, I'm going to click on databases just to make sure that my database is selected. I'm going to click on it. There's idtprof_mydatabase. And then it tells me that there's no tables found in the database. That's because we have to create tables. Now we can do this one step at a time, or we can just click on this button at the bottom left. Click on console, and this is basically the command line input that it's waiting for directions. I'm going to right click and tell it to paste the text that I copied. So right click and paste. There's no paste. Let's press Control V then, Command V on a Macintosh, and I got my script here. It's not displaying properly, but I know that it's there. I don't know why it does this, but at any rate, in order for this to be accepted, I'm going to press Control and the Enter key. And that says basically, here's the script, now do something with it. And it tells you what it did, and it's proud of how fast it did. In less than a second, it loaded up all the information onto the database. It gives you a report of what it did, that it returned an empty result with 0 rows, basically because it's just setting up the blank space for us to work with. Now that this is set up, or rather the create script has been run, you'll see on the left that phpMyAdmin has then created a couple of new things. If I click on plus on customers, it'll tell me that there's columns and what each one of these columns is. There's a customer address, a customer city, etc. All the information about the customer and the indexes, the primary specifically on that was loaded as well. Let me reload this page. I'm going to press Control R, Command R on a Mac. And then I can see that not only did it do the customers table, it also created another table for the order items and the space for orders, products, and vendors. And so this, the beginning shell of the database is set up. We have one more script that we need to load, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to close the original script and click on populate.txt. This script is the one that will actually populate the tables with information. So rather than us sitting down and going over a list with great care of copying and pasting or even typing all of this information, we're going to just copy and paste, basically dump all the information in here. I'm going to right click anywhere on the page and tell it to select all, and then tell it to copy. And now that that's copied, I'm going to sling back to my phpMyAdmin. I'm going to do basically the same thing as I did before to create, but now we're going to be populating. Basically, we're just sending commands straight into the MySQL server. I'm going to click on the space below. The console is still open, and since I couldn't do right click and paste, I'm just going to press Control V as in Victor to press to paste. And then press Control Enter. That accepts the order, and you'll see that it gives you now a report of what's going on. It inserted all of these things into the database. If I click somewhere neutral like that blank space, I'm going to press Control R to reload the page. And then it tells me that my database has been populated with a customers table. The customer table has columns, and inside the columns there's addresses, there's cities, there's contact information, there's countries, etc. And we're going to be able to see by selecting and pulling all of this stuff from within, and work with it on our class here with databases. I'm going to leave this open as it is. I can see that it's my username.weareidt.com, that I have a database called IDTProfMyDatabase, that I have a table called customers, and it has all of these things inside, and I also have an order items, orders, products, and vendors. And with this done, then you can please, if you could please make a screen capture of this page and turn it in for a grade in this assignment.